So this project works to answer several questions. One of them being, will there be any road work on I-35 from Des Moines to Kansas City? So you would have to go through two websites. The first one being the Iowa DOT website to be able to find the incident or the events along I-35 South. And then have to go over to the Missouri one to continue all the way down to Kansas City. But with this application, you're able to see all the events in one continuous or in one view, so you don't have the problem of switching between tabs. The second question is, actually this is where the project kind of came out of, was what roads would be impacted by a regional flooding event? So in Iowa we had two 500-year floods, and then in 2008 this is closed down I-29, which is a major interstate between Sioux City and Council Bluffs. And so the aftermath of it is it created a 600-mile detour from Council Bluffs to Des Moines, and then up to Albert Lea, over to Sioux Falls, and then back down to Sioux City. So over the course of that it takes you along 3 to potentially 4 different states. So like before, how I showed you with the Des Moines to Kansas City, so you have to go to the 511 website, and then you could potentially go up to the Minnesota site, and then over to the South Dakota site, and then back down to the Nebraska 511 site. And so this really helps solve all the problems associated with that, as it gives you a regional common operating picture for traffic events, such as major river floodings, along with major snowstorms, especially up here in the Midwest, and then potentially in the South for like hurricanes. And then it helps emergency management officials to provide them the COP and to be able to see if there's any incidents that would be impacting traffic. And then there's also a one-stop app for interstate travelers along federal interstates or federal highways, or just going between states, as it makes data so much easier to visualize. Some of the features and functionality is that it displays common data information, it uses a common formatting and common symbols, which is quite hard to have several states agree on. This is the way that we're going to do stuff. So I just went out there and I used what Iowa had, which I felt was a really good model at displaying events, to pull events from other states and just display them. Easy user interface. So when you go to a website, this is the homepage. Move around the map, zoom in, where it'll show all the state events, and then you start picking up the traffic cameras. And then you can zoom out. When you hit sort of the regional level, it'll just show you the here traffic events. Once you zoom in one further, is now you're starting to see the prosthesis events from Iowa, Nebraska, down in Missouri, and then over a few in Illinois as well. And then over on your left is your legend, and then over on the map tab is a full-scale map with zoom in and out, and you also have the option to locate, track your location, along with setting your position back to the default home. Well, on the About page, just some generic information. And then here's a data page for other sources. Basically, I'm pulling in the SSCC winter road conditions from the University of Wisconsin, and watches and warnings, along with radar from NOAA. Here you can see all the different states, along with access to the data. If you click on them, you go to the website and you hit it, and you don't have to worry. You just zoom in and it shows state events. You zoom out and it shows the Esri here traffic. And likewise, the data is displayed at appropriate scales. So as traffic appears at all the scales, because it has fewer events, and it's a one service to help the application load faster. And then you have your state events appear, zoom into the state scale, along with other ITS devices appearing Once you zoom further in to the multi-county scale, so ITS devices such as cameras, variable message signs, or digital message signs, it just makes the application load that much faster. So within ArcGIS, I built it on the JavaScript API, and the site's actually built on with the jQuery bootstrap, and it's utilizing 25 plus separate GIS map and feature services as well. So it's quite a feat to sort of coordinate that many layers on a map. Breaking down the data sources, there's 11 plus state events, 2 plus state road conditions, and then 13 plus different state cameras. And the other thing is that you to be able to see the current layers that are on the map, you can click on the data tab. All the green boxes will show you services have been added to the map. Yellow ones show potential data sources that haven't been added or aren't able to be added, and then the red signifies that there are no potential data sources out there. And so one of the questions I'm asked is why? So as you can see above is from the Esri world traffic incidents that come from here, traffic. And so there's quite a few events missing versus on the right where you see quite a few more detailed events that are in effect. So that's sort of one thing. And then the other thing is that for the here traffic is it doesn't have as much information as provided by the Iowa DOT or other state provided data. That's my Tortoise 511.